Hello, Star Wars fans. My name is Clint at Star Wars Daily, and I'm joined here with my good friend.
Eric Hell from Chewie Press.
Yep. And welcome to another episode of Talking Mando.
Yes,
This
welcome.
is going to be our last episode because this is the last episode of the season, and what an amazing season it has been. Honestly, like it's just been a high this entire time for me,
Yes.
at least. I don't think there was any episodes where I felt like it was filler or anything.
Yeah.
I think we both really enjoyed this season.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
definitely enjoyed the season.
yeah, and so in as far as the future of the channel, um, we're going to be making more content for you guys. So I will be putting out regular content individually, as well as we will continue doing these types of shows following the release of the new shows and movies with Erikel, and then he will have his content on his channel as well,
Yes.
which you can subscribe to in the link below. And as always, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Star Wars Daily and at Punch Chewie Press for all the latest updates, because that's where we are most active. All right.
Yes.
So let's jump into this week's episode, The Rescue. And as it says in the name, our uh, our crew is going to go save Grogu. Oh, Grogu.
The camera.
He's just like right there, like in the corner.
Yeah. Just peeking.
Oh. All right. So the opening scene was great. They hopped right into the action. Mando and the crew, which is Boba, and Fennec and Cara Dune,
Yeah.
they commandeer Dr. Pershing's Imperial shuttle. And let me just say, the Slave One was totally badass in this scene.
Oh. Oh.
Um, that ship just never fails to disappoint. He's got so much going on in terms of arsenal
Yeah.
on that thing, like ion cannons, the what's it called, the seismic charge.
Mm.
And now we see his cannons can actually rotate backwards, and he can
Backwards.
shoot
Yeah.
people behind him as he's flying forward. That's insane.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Um,
It always feels like, well, not always, but watching the show and seeing the Slave One, it feels like the alter ego to the Millennium Falcon. You know, like the opposite. In like it's like the good guys have the Millennium Falcon, and now like not the bad guys, but like the kind of shady guys
yeah,
have the Slave One, and that's like, oh, it's so cool. It feels like it was the Millennium Falcon for this series. You know, like
yeah.
even though we had the Razor Crest, but like I don't know, it just felt different whenever the Slave One was on screen.
No, I get that. I
Yeah.
mean, it hurt to lose the Razor Crest.
Oh, it did.
I It really makes me intrigued for season 3 because,
Yeah.
as we know, um, the Book of Boba is going to star Fennec Shand and Boba Fett in their own standalone series, which we have confirmation of now. And
Yes.
Mandalorian season 3 will go on as planned, with Din Djarin and
Mhm.
Kara and Grief and them. Honestly, I have zero predictions about where Mando season 3 will go besides the Mandalore, taking back Mandalore. That's the only thing
Yeah.
that I can think of. And as far as him getting a new ship, I don't know,
Well,
because
I think
Boba's
that
taking the Slave One.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Is like now he really doesn't have a ship unless he takes the Lambda shuttle. You know, so it's unless he takes that,
I mean,
but
I mean,
that could be cool. Yeah. That could be
I'm all mirrored. I can't
yeah.
even.
but
There
yeah,
we go.
he pretty much doesn't have a ship anymore, and Boba just said deuces and went to take the throne.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited. Not maybe. I'm sure he's gonna go like with Bo-Katan and Casca. I think they're from there. They're gonna go to Mandalore probably.
Yeah.
But now that they have Gideon, I feel like Thrawn's gonna come in and say like, okay, well, we gotta go save Gideon. Not save, but like it's
If
probably gonna be.
if they're actually working together,
I feel
you
I
know.
feel like
I feel like they are though, because knowing
yeah,
I seeing Gideon fight, he
yeah.
obviously wasn't very capable. Knowing Thrawn has this interest in all these types of relics,
Mhm.
like uh 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 Grease helmet. But
Exactly.
so Thrawn has all this interest in relics like the dark saber, so
Yes.
maybe Gideon just got that from Thrawn. Or something along those lines. I don't know.
Yeah. No, because I definitely because all at least in from what we know about Thrawn is like the only reason he's even a part of the Empire is to like pretty much to protect the Chiss ascendancy, right? Like to better the like the standing of the Chiss ascendancy within the galaxy, or you know, or whatever. I don't know the specifics, but it's pretty much like he could care less about the Empire, but because the Empire gives him power, that's what like pretty much that's what he's after.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe that he's obviously been in hiding, building his numbers, and even though he may not be like directly affiliated with Gideon, I feel like he'll still be like, okay, well, I need Gideon if I'm gonna like if I can to carry out whatever plan he has, right?
Hmm.
And the only what I by saying like he needs him, I mean needs him, I mean it's like there aren't that many high level Imperials left, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So he needs all the help he can get, or who knows? I mean, I who knows? But I think he's definitely going to come in and be like the next big bad guy, especially since Ahsoka name dropped him.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's
But
just going
then we
to
also have
intertwine
the
again.
Ahsoka show coming too, so maybe he
That
will be the
too.
bad guy in that show. Um, but then we
That
could see
too.
crossovers. I don't
But
know.
what we do know is
It's
that
go ahead.
no, no, I think I was lagging a bit. But yeah, so what even more so, he could still be the bad guy in Ahsoka, and then still be like the next big bad guy in like the continuation of Mando, because apparently the Ahsoka show and Rangers and Mando are gonna be intertwining from now on.
Yeah, yeah,
Like they're gonna like interconnect some way, which we still don't know, but that could be it. And I feel like this is like yeah, I don't. We obviously don't know for sure, but I'm like I'm just excited.
yeah.
I'm like
It's
stumbling over my words.
it's still pretty great, but definitely exciting.
Yeah,
So when the crew commandeers the Imperial shuttle, there's this amazing scene of the Slave One just like slowly rising in front of the cockpit of the Imperial shuttle, which I thought was really cool, really intimidating. And you see Boba like piloting it and stuff. But they hop in the shuttle, and the pilot's talking about how he was on the Death Star, and he has a little dialogue with Cara Dune. She's kind of just like, huh, which one?
yeah,
And he keeps he smokes his co-pilot because his co-pilot doesn't want to die, and he's freaking out.
he
He grabs
dies.
Pershing hostage, and he just keeps talking smack about Alderaan, and Kara's not having it, and she just she just offs him. Um,
Dome piece.
I
God,
think I saw that Pershing actually got a piece of his ear blown off when
what?
Kara shot that pilot. I guess in
Really?
one of the later scenes you can see his ear cut off, shot off. I don't remember seeing it. I need to watch it again,
Yeah, I need
but
to watch that
I
again
saw
now.
a picture. I don't know if I saw a picture on Instagram. I don't know if it was photoshopped or if it was actually from the episode, but yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised like after seeing that scene where Din just breaks that guy's neck
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised anymore.
I mean, Din went. It was
He
brutal.
went
He took the
brutal.
spear
Like
and
it
like
was awesome.
choked
Don't
him
get
to
me
death.
wrong. I'm
Yeah,
not
it was
complaining.
cool.
That was awesome.
That's what I like to see. Thank you, Disney, for actually making it a somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Um, so they commandeer the shuttle. They head to this planet looking for Bo-Katan and Casca. The dude Mando is nowhere to be found. I don't know what happened to him. But they're chilling in a bar, eating, and Boba and Din walk up to the two of them, and they just start making fun of Boba Fett, like
They just
calling him a
started
sidekick.
hounding him. Yeah. They didn't care.
And Boba Fett's finally like not having it. He says something, and Bo-Katan recognizes Boba's voice as a clone.
Mm.
And she's like, "You're not a true Mandalorian. I know what you are," kind of thing. And he's like, "This armor belongs to my father," which seems to be what he has to explain to everyone.
Yeah.
And then she hits him back with the biggest dig. Don't you mean your donor?
Oh, messed up.
I laughed so hard right there.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
No,
So
that was a cool scene. Just like sizing each other up.
yeah,
Like I wanted to see a full on fight right there. I was
I
like,
mean, this is
let's
why the
go.
Mandalorians are known to have civil wars. It's because they can never get
Exactly.
along.
Yeah. Short tempers.
Yeah. So just as you said, Boba and Casca get into it. Um, I don't know. I think Boba should have smacked her even more, but I guess they wanted to show off Sasha Banks' WWE fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
But they kind of end in a draw with like their flamethrowers on in each other's face.
It's pretty much like what happened with when Kara and Din first met.
Yeah,
You know, like
exactly.
they had to like give Gina like the respect of like we know you're a badass in real life, but Din's a badass in this story. So like they had
Yeah,
like they couldn't give any of them the win. So it's same thing with Sasha Banks and Boba Fett. It's like,
yeah.
well, you can't be Boba Fett, but we also won't make Boba Fett beat you. But that was
Exactly.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, good point with the Gina Carano thing,
Yeah.
because yeah, I totally forgot about that in season one. They did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Bo-Katan agrees to help them, based off of she always wants something in return. So she gets the Imperial cruiser to help her take back Mandalore, and I believe the Darksaber was part of the deal too. Um, and the whole motley crew decides to use the Imperial shuttle to trick Gideon. So, but before that, before they take off, there's this beautiful shot of like the Slave One, the Mandalorian.
The
I don't
gauntlet.
even. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the Imperial shuttle, just all three sitting there, and it
Yeah.
looks really cool. Um, so they come out of hyperspace, and Boba Fett is um, chasing the shuttle in the Slave One, pretending to try and shoot it down, and the rest of the crew is in the shuttle trying to board the Gideon's Imperial light cruiser. So they launch ties. Um, the trick works, and the
That was
crew
so
gets
cool to
on the
see, by the way.
cruiser. Yeah, it was
Seeing
really cool.
the ties like launch out like that.
Yeah.
Apparently it's like a nod to Battlestar Galactica, and I mean Katie Sackhoff was in that too.
Okay. Yeah, because the
Yeah.
Vipers have to launch like that.
Hmm. Yeah. So that was cool. That's a cool connection.
That was pretty sweet.
Hmm.
Yeah, I remember. I watched Battlestar Galactica, and I didn't even recognize that. So
Yeah.
good
No, no.
call.
I used to watch it when I was younger with my dad. We put like sci-fi on,
Yeah.
like the channel, and we just. But I don't remember it anymore. It's like so much I don't remember.
Yeah. So their whole plan on the Imperial cruiser is to have everybody go make a distraction, head to the bridge, and take that over and stop Gideon. And meanwhile, Din would go and shut off the Dark Troopers because Pershing generously gave them that tip that there's Dark Troopers on board and not to underestimate it. So Din's running to go shut off the Dark Troopers and keep them offline. Meanwhile, Bo-Katan and Fennec, Kara, and Casca go to the bridge, wiping out stormtroopers along the way, and they take control of it. However, they realize Gideon's not there. Mando tries to keep the Dark Troopers offline, but as soon as he gets there, he fails. They're all online. He manages to keep them all behind a door except one, who like Terminator style like rips open that door. I mean, that I think that was a Terminator nod with the whole like flames and in the Dark Trooper. That looked sick. And let me just say, yeah, the Dark Trooper music was fantastic. The dubstep, like,
it really was.
it was really cool. I liked it.
Yeah. He received a beating. Can we just acknowledge that?
Yeah, Din was no match for the Dark Trooper without the Beskar.
I feel like he should have at least had like I don't like whiplash or something from
getting smashed
punches.
in the helmet.
Are you kidding me?
Dude,
like I get that it's pressurized, it was protecting him, but still, like
that was really cool to see. Just the Dark Trooper just smashing his face and nothing happening, but Mando's just like taking it.
like picture that the last scene where they're trying to punch through the blast doors. That's what they were doing to his face.
Yeah, and
that's what he was doing to his head.
His armor didn't even get a dent.
Nothing. It was like
how. Okay, if Boba Fett's armor is Beskar,
yeah,
how in the world did that dent get in his? Like, is Cad Bane's gun that powerful? Like, to where it can dent Beskar? Like, what?
Probably, I guess. We'll have to see. Well, dude, I hope we get like a flashback of that, of like their battle or something in the Book of Boba Fett or something, or just like mentioning it. You know?
I'm calling it now. Cad Bane's gonna be in Book of Boba Fett.
You think so?
Calling it.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think he's still alive? Or
yes.
Is it like going to be like a flashback? You think he's alive?
I think he's alive.
I like what okay. So I'm torn because I love Cad Bane. I want to see Cad Bane, but at the same time, I love Boba Fett, and I feel like what made him so infamous and like crazy, like oh my god, that's Boba Fett, is the fact that it's like oh that's the guy that killed Cad Bane.
That would be I see that too. So maybe or he's just alive and just like badly injured or something like that.
I'm not gonna complain either way. I'm just like I'm like I right now that's like my current headcanon because like obviously that scene isn't canon or official. But
I mean
like,
that makes
like
sense.
My head. Yeah. Like okay, next question. Do you think we'll see any of that, like any of those unreleased arcs in Bad Batch?
I did see that they had some Bad Batch episodes pre-Order 66. So they're definitely going to be going back in time a little bit, leading up to it. I honestly don't see it happening. I think they're going to keep Bad Batch with a title solely like Bad Batch. It's going to be about clones.
Do you think it's only going to be like a season? Have they said if it's just going to be one season, or is it going to be like
they have
could
not.
we expect maybe
they have
2
not
or 3?
Said. I don't believe they've said. Because if our prediction is true, they evolve into Scar Squadron, then we could have multiple seasons because we know that they're alive for quite a bit more time.
Yeah. I'm just thinking because we know how Dave works. He likes to sneak in little things for the fans whenever he can, you know? So it's like if he's got an opportunity to continue a show, or not continue a show, but like start a new show and continue like the Clone Wars animation style and characters from the Clone Wars, if he has an opportunity to like maybe explore side, like how usually in episodes there's like the main plot and then there's like the side plot.
You
I
know,
feel like he could do it like that.
a way I can see it happening is we all know the Empire likes to use bounty hunters.
Yeah.
So Boba, let's just say Bad Batch, Boba Fett, and Cad Bane are all on a mission together.
Yeah.
Cad and Boba get into it. Could happen.
Yeah, that's it. Like that, it could be as simple as that. Because all we see is them fighting. It's like their
Yeah.
standoff, but we don't know what caused it. We don't know at what point in time it was. So it could be post Republic era. It could be during the Empire. Could be whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited. I hope we see it. If not, it's fine. I don't care. But if we do get a live action Cad Bane, oh,
That would be awesome.
that would be awesome.
Man. So Mando defeats this single dark trooper with the Beskar spear
Yes,
by stabbing him in the neck. And he proceeds to eject the rest of the dark troopers out into space. So we think they're gone. Then he goes to get Grogu and he finds that Gideon is holding Grogu hostage with the Darksaber. Gideon kind of gives him the backstory of the Darksaber because he loves to flex it. And Mando's like, I don't care about it. I just want Grogu. And Gideon's like, all right, have him. I'm done with him. So Mando goes,
for that, bro.
falls for it. Yeah. And Gideon just gets enraged and starts hacking at him with the Darksaber. Beskar holds up pretty damn well because Gideon was just slashing at him like for a good maybe 30 seconds before Mando could, come to it and grab the spear to fight him back with. And they have like a short little duel, Darksaber versus Beskar spear, and I guess Mando's just that much a better fighter than Gideon, and he bests him, takes the Darksaber, but he doesn't kill him. And Gideon was confused about that. It says this should be interesting.
Yeah, he knew what was about to happen.
Yeah, Gideon knows. So Mando takes Gideon to the bridge, rescues Grogu, yay, and then it all goes downhill from there.
It do.
Because Bo-Katan refuses to take the Darksaber and says that, and then Gideon just starts cackling and laughing, and he's just like, haha, like,
some people just want to watch the world burn, bro.
Yeah, Bo-Katan's like, oh, I can't take it because it has to be one in combat. And Mando's like, okay, well, I yield. And she's like, no. And Gideon's like, haha, it's because otherwise she'll like be seen as weak or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which confused me because Sabine hands Bo-Katan the Darksaber in Rebels, and
that's immediately what I thought. But if you really think about it, she lost it after it was just given to her. So losing it after someone gave it to you, I'm sure doesn't look good. Yeah. So at this point, I feel like she's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna get it, I have to prove myself now. Because like last time, she didn't really have to prove herself. It was just like, okay, we know you're good. We'll accept you getting it for free, pretty much. But this time, who knows how it went down? Who knows if it was a fair duel or whatever? But she lost it.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to think of it as if it were me. If I'm trying to get it back, the only way to get everyone to trust me again is like, well, now I have to prove that I actually am worthy of it.
Yeah, I really hope she doesn't turn on Din or anything trying to get it back. I feel like
I hope not.
I feel like she's better than that, but
yeah, I feel like she is, and then at the same time,
she seemed really angry about it.
Well, I'd be pretty pissed too.
I mean,
But
but I, no one
I
was
know,
there to see
I
it
know.
but
It's like,
her. Like, just off Gideon. Casca's the only other Mandalorian that knows. Din doesn't
yeah,
care. Fennec doesn't care. Kara doesn't care. Like,
yeah. But the Mandalorians are all about honor. They're all about. It's
so
just
she
like
makes
the
fun of
whole thing.
Din. She makes fun of Din when she first sees him about not taking off his helmet. She's like, "You're one of those," and then now she's being one of those.
She's being one of the other ones.
Low key, Bo-Katan was kind of ticking me off in this
No,
episode.
yeah. That it was because I'm like, why are you talking mad smack about Boba? Leave him alone. And then
Yeah,
she's like, no, I need to kill you for it.
she's so angry, and it makes sense. She's always been just this like
No,
angry
yeah.
character, but
I think we forgot that, or like not forgot, but like no, yeah, forgot. Yeah, like us and like most people kind of forgot that she's more of a bad guy, if anything. She was like
she
on the
was Death Watch.
yeah, she was Death Watch. She's like chaotic. She's like, let me see. She's like a chaotic neutral, like that level. So it's like
Yeah,
she'll do the right thing, but not
for her
always the right
own
way. Yeah, or for the right reasons.
agenda. Like in the
But
Clone Wars, she just like, oh, I need the Republic's help to take back Mandalore because that's all she cares about, and she just like hops on with Ahsoka, goes to the Republic cruiser, and is like, "Help me now!" Like
yeah,
she's so demand. Like that's all she can think about. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. No.
Anyways,
Yeah, I hope it doesn't go down like in a bad way between her and Din. I feel like she still needs his help, and if he held his own with Gideon or whatever, I'm sure she understands, okay, like he's good,
yeah,
you know? So I feel like she's probably gonna wait to do anything. I don't think she's like immediately gonna try and kill him or anything. I feel like she's like, okay, let's figure this out with Mandalore first. Come help me. Let's figure this out, and then we'll figure the dark saber thing out.
yeah, yeah. 'Cause
But
Mando doesn't really seem to want it at all.
yeah, because it's
Um,
like, take it. I would just leave it there. Leave.
yeah. So then, like, the bridge starts beeping, going crazy, and we see just this massive amount of dark troopers, like even more than I think we're even in the container, like just coming towards the cruiser, and they're freaking out because like Din had problems with one. What are they gonna do against that many? Granted, they had the dark saber, so I don't know why they were too worried, but um, anyways, they lock
Well,
down the bridge.
yeah.
They're trapped in there, and the dark troopers come and try to get in, and they're just like punching the door down, and they're about to get it down, and then
I'm gonna cry
we
again.
see an X-wing appear, like flying in front of the bridge. And let me tell you, the second I saw that X-wing, I knew it was
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. I was like, one X-wing. That's it. I was like, that's it. That's him.
I was counting the little tallies on the wings to make sure it was Red 5. I saw R2 there, and yeah, I broke down and cried. Like when I saw the X-wing, every hair on my body stood up. Like it
Yeah,
was
bro.
like wow, like finally we're getting Luke Skywalker in his prime.
Yeah. Yes. Like the Luke we all knew for years since after episode 6 came out. That when and comics started coming out and novels started coming out, that was the Luke we knew. That
Yeah.
was the Luke that we had in our minds, that we read about, that like our imaginations were showing us. And like it was insane. It was insane seeing that. Like I was hyperventilating. I was
Yeah, I
freaking
mean,
out.
first he comes out like cloaked, like he did when he showed up at Jabba's palace, and he's just to have him mowing down dark troopers with his green lightsaber, like of all things, like
Yes. Yes,
gave
because we
all of
didn't
us
even see
EU
that,
fans, yeah, like all of us EU fans were just so happy to see that.
bro. It. The next day I like woke up and I was like on Instagram. I still hadn't hit me, and like I saw it again on Instagram, and I was like, I don't want to cry on the toilet, man. Like, what am I doing here?
No, I know. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, even the characters in the bridge were so shocked to see a Jedi and have it be Luke Skywalker. Um, and then he has like his hallway scene just like Vader did in Rogue One, and he's
apparently
even
it
like,
sinks.
yeah, and he's like tapping into the dark side almost when he crushes that last Dark Trooper with the Force,
Yeah,
like Vader would.
dude. Yeah, it was insane. And then not only did they bring us and show us the Luke we like, Luke Skywalker. Not only did they bring that to us, but he's fighting against EU characters. He's destroying dark troopers. Like, can you really, like, has it
Yeah.
really hit you that we got Luke Skywalker, and not only did we get Luke Skywalker, but he's
Dark.
demolishing dark troopers
And he had his hood on the entire time.
the entire time, man.
Din opens the door for him on the bridge, and I'm expecting to see Sebastian Stan or somebody else. And he takes off his hood, and it's Mark Hamill. Like, and then I see the credits that Mark Hamill played or voiced him. Now I know there was a different actor under the CGI, and yes, I know we have to talk about the CGI. It wasn't the best, but you know what? I don't care. Like, granted, it
So
could have been better. I was just so
yeah.
happy to get Luke Skywalker back finally.
So apparently, I think there was a stand-in for the
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, there
But
was.
once he took his cloak off and they showed his face, I think that was Mark Hamill. They just used like like a de-aging process.
Yeah,
It's like I think it was like a deep fake, but also like de-aging. So that's kind of why from what I've been hearing, that's kind of why it looked a little off, but only because it is Mark Hamill. But now, Mark
yeah.
Hamill still looks like now looks very different from when he did
I
in
think I
episode
think
6.
what happened is, we had de-aging before. We know they have this technology. We've had
Yeah,
like they did it on Samuel L. Jackson for Captain Marvel, and like Samuel L. Jackson, he
he looks
looks exactly the same as he did like
yeah,
30 years ago. Like,
yeah.
um, I mean, even Robert Downey Jr. looks pretty similar. Mark Hamill looks a lot different than he
Yeah,
looked
Mark Hamill looks a lot different.
when he was younger. And
But yeah, that's what I mean.
granted, they could have touched it up a lot better, as I've seen
They
on
could have.
YouTube. Like
Hmm.
these YouTubers I've seen, they made it look so much better.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was a time thing. I don't know. The
Who
YouTubers made
knows?
it in like just a few days, so I don't know.
I'm sure there had to have
Whatever.
been a reason. They like. I'm sure they used what like the best possible things they had, and then if it didn't, once they used it and didn't come out the way they like exactly like
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi Luke. I mean, I'm sure they were like, well, I mean, this is what he looks like.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll agree with all the fans complaining that yes, it could have been done
Mm.
better, but I am happy that they
But it
added
was
him.
Mark.
Maybe it was a
Yeah.
last minute thing. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that we
Yeah.
got to see at least a glimpse of the Luke
Yeah.
Skywalker we've always wanted to see, just like we saw a glimpse of the Vader we've always wanted to see in
Yeah.
Rogue One. And that scene
It,
was almost cut.
yeah.
So,
Well, and then even that scene, like, even seeing that Vader like that, we had only seen him in comics do stuff like that.
yeah.
And now it's literally the same exact thing, just with our hero.
Mhm.
And but no, yeah, I definitely agree that the CG, like the CG could have looked better, but I feel I'm just glad that it was Mark. I'm just glad that it was Mark, because that was my only, not worry, but like I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it if it did
Yeah.
happen, like before obviously we knew Luke was back. Like I was thinking about it like as a theory, and I was like, okay, well, it I don't know if I want them to bring Luke back because Luke has to be Mark Hamill. You know,
Yeah,
Mark
you didn't
Hamill.
want a Han
Yeah,
Solo type thing.
no, exactly. And so I was like, if they bring him back and they somehow manage to find a way to use Mark Hamill, then I was like, I'll be happy, and I
I
am.
think it, yeah, I think it was
Happy.
great that they used Mark for this. Now, could I see
Yeah,
them using Mark for a whole series or like a whole show? No, and that's where I would
yeah,
be fine if they added Sebastian Stan
yeah.
as him.
That's different. Yeah,
I feel
I
like
think.
Sebastian's a closer look to Luke than Alden was to Han.
Yeah, no, like Sebastian is like almost a spitting image of like young Mark Hamill.
Yeah, when he
It's
has the
weird.
hairstyle and like
It's weird,
this.
bro.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they even call each other like father and son on social
yeah.
media, so
Like it's cool. I also think that this could be how they transition into like the next like Clone Wars style show, which could be, you know, Luke training Grogu and the New Jedi Order and like, you know, all of that
that would be cool.
takes place between episodes 6 and 7. You know, because
Yeah.
I don't think that we're gonna see Luke or Grogu back in live action, unfortunately. Like
I
I
don't
don't
think
think.
okay, I think we're gonna see Grogu. Luke is iffy, but I just want that in live
Well,
action so bad.
I I I I know we'll definitely see Grogu in live action, but I mean like late. I feel like the only time we'll see him again is once he's grown, like once he's older.
It's gonna be a
You know?
while. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a while. They're done with his arc for now.
But what I'm saying is I think that if I feel like they have big plans for Grogu. I think they have big plans for Grogu because he lives 900 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. It's a lot of stories. So I feel like they want to show us, or they're going to show us, like his training. You know, him growing up in the temple, him training with Luke, or who, you know, anyone else. So but that if they do decide to show us that, I don't think it'll be live action. I think it'll be like a Clone Wars style show that takes place between like episodes 6 and 7. And I also want to see that because there's still so many unanswered questions with, you know, with Ben and like like everything that happened. How did the First Order come to power?
Yeah.
How did all these things happen? That
The sequel trilogy is such a mess. There's so much
I
missing
know,
stuff.
and
Like
that's what I mean,
so
and
much.
that's what it needs. It needs a show like the Clone Wars to like connect both trilogies because there's 30 years in between both trilogies.
Yeah.
That literally the Thrawn trilogy could take place between those two trilogies. The like, let me think. Thrawn trilogy could happen. Um, I just had it. Bella and I were just talking about all this stuff. Okay, anyway, it's gonna come back to me. But like literally all these stories could still happen and still be canon, like from the EU, and it could still happen in between that time period that we see, you know, in between
Yeah.
both trilogies. So what better way than to introduce us to that era than Grogu, Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Everyone is in love
And
with Baby Yoda, and you know.
and that's true because I mean the prequels were hated on a lot um prior to Clone Wars, and I think
Yeah,
the prequels have a lot bigger appreciation now that Clone
because
Wars
of Clone Wars. Yeah,
gave more context.
exactly. And that's what I mean. That's what the sequels need.
Yeah.
That's what they're missing is background. You know.
Yeah. So Luke promises to train Grogu, and then he says talent without training is nothing.
Oh man, can we
Interesting.
talk about this? Can we talk about this
We can talk about it a little, I guess.
a little bit? Okay, so like that whole episode was 100% a jab at the Last Jedi, and
Yeah,
the sequels in general. But like talent without training is nothing, right? Is that what he says?
talent without training is nothing.
And
Hinting at Ray.
what does Ben call Ray? He says she's nothing.
Yeah, you're no one.
You're nothing. You're no.
Yeah,
Come on, that's not a coincidence.
and it came out on
But
Ryan Johnson's birthday, didn't you say that?
it was Ryan Johnson's birthday. It was Ryan Johnson's. I cannot believe they did that.
Luke Skywalker coming back. Ryan Johnson's birthday. Talent without training is nothing.
Oh my god, there was
Hmm.
something else and now I forgot. But yeah, I mean, like, no hate. I'm not throwing hate. I'm just stating facts. It
It's
was
just
his birthday.
interesting. It's just interesting.
It's just
No hate.
interesting. No hate. But like, I think we can all agree that the sequel characters could have been handled better. And I think that's all this is, like not saying it, but saying it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not that Ray is a girl that I don't like her. It's not that, any of the BS reasons. It's like, no, I loved Ray when I watched The Force Awakens. I loved Finn and Poe. I loved all the characters. I was like, okay, I want to see them grow. I want to see them like overcome. I want to see them. Yeah. Oh, it's just frustrating because I wanted to love them. I wanted to
Yeah.
love them, and it's like
Me too.
nothing happened.
I had like
Like,
all the Rey, Poe, Finn stuff,
exactly.
and then there was just no growth. And then the Rey
Exactly.
growth was like it's like she drank a power up and just
Because
instantly.
it was literally like, here's the Force,
Yeah.
have it. Okay, here's a lightsaber, have it. Here's some cool like fighting skills,
Yeah.
you have it. And it's like, it's great and all, like, yeah, but like, we see Anakin, the chosen one, in the prequels, right? Amazing guy. Like, he's really good at he's too good. He's too good for his own good, right? He's the chosen one. Gets his ass handed to him by Dooku. Like, destroyed.
Yeah,
And
because
then
he didn't have enough training.
exactly.
And then
Same
Luke
thing with
says
Luke.
talent without training is nothing. So it can't
Exactly.
be a coincidence.
It's not. It's not. And then, like I said, same thing with Luke. Like, Vader destroys him.
Yeah.
He's just playing with him on Bespin. It's like, what are
And
you
then
doing?
he goes to train.
Exactly. So like that's all I'm saying is like that
They
and it's
didn't
not just because
show.
like I wanted to see it. It's like, it's a good story. It's good character development. You're teaching people lessons. You're teaching children lessons that they need to learn, that maybe, that's how we learned,
Yeah.
that's how we learned very important life lessons that we weren't ready for because we didn't understand because we were children, but we learned
Yeah.
them through stories like this subliminally. So then when we came to make these decisions as, growing up or as adults, it's like, okay, well, I know what I should do, not always I know, but like, you have a basic understanding of like, okay, this is right, this is wrong, or like, I'm, I should probably prepare myself for whatever I'm going to do, whatever. I don't know if you understand, if I'm making any sense, but
No, I mean Luke. They didn't show much of Luke's training after Empire, but it was
yeah,
heavily implied that he did. And Yoda was
mhm,
still around.
yeah,
So he was still going back to Dagobah to get training from Yoda.
mhm,
Um, he just he didn't get just like a bunch of ancient Jedi texts and just like study them by
yeah,
himself and learn. Granted, in Rise of Skywalker, they did talk
yeah.
about. I think Leia helped her out a bit.
Yeah,
And we
I
know,
believe she trained with her for like a year.
yeah, and we know
For a
Leia.
year.
Leia trained with Luke as well.
Mhm.
So that would actually be cool to see
See,
in the
yeah, that's
future,
something.
seeing Leia with a lightsaber running around, before she has been.
Yeah,
But yeah, they fixed a little bit of it in Rise of Skywalker, but in terms of her like abilities by Last Jedi, it was kind of odd.
yeah,
So her only
yeah,
real teacher was Han Solo, and like
yeah.
he wasn't force sensitive, obviously. And I mean,
So
she had Luke, but like what? They spent a few days together, like not.
yeah, that's what I mean. And then like half of the time, Luke was like, "Get out of my face," you know.
Yeah,
It's like, so that, you know what I mean, and you know what I think about it. But like, and to anyone watching, like, I'm not hating. I'm not here to talk shit or anything. It's just like, I
it's one thing
I
to be handed books and learn. It's another thing
yeah,
to be handed books and a teacher.
exactly. But and then what I'm also trying to, the basic message, I guess, that I'm trying to say is like, I wanted to love this trilogy. I wanted to love these characters, and it's frustrating when it's like, okay, they're not giving you much to love, and like, and then even then it's like everything in these three movies takes place within a year, so there
Yeah.
really isn't much room to explore in between the movies. There's no room for comics, no room for novels, no room for games, like literally nothing. It's like, okay, we can literally only make comics from what happens right before the Force Awakens and what happens after Rise of Skywalker, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like,
Like everything's literally called Journey to the Force Awakens, Journey to the Last Jedi Alert, Journey to the Rise of Skywalker. Like
yeah.
there's no there's no period in between for like learning and growth, and I don't know.
I just feel like after episode 7, episode 8 should have been like 2 or 3 years after episode 7. I think it just needed some time. Like they needed time to like grow, and like some room for us to be like, okay, they've already been through stuff, kind of like how we see, you know, our heroes in episode 4, and then there's like a what is it, like a couple years in between episode 4 and 5, or
Yeah.
like a year or something. I don't remember, but there's like a couple years in
There's a little
between
bit of
those.
time, yeah.
And then like by the time we see them on Hoth, they're like generals and commanders, and like, oh, what the
Yeah,
okay.
Luke's a commander
Yeah,
in Empire, and
yeah.
then they're all generals in
In
Return of
episode
the
6,
Jedi.
yeah,
So like that doesn't happen in a year.
exactly. So
Um,
so I like the I guess my complaint for the sequels is like I wanted more. You know, like
yeah,
yeah,
I think Last Jedi really needed to be that bridge in between the two movies, and that's why it gets so much hate because it really failed at that. Like it came right off of basically almost right off of Force Awakens because Finn was still
yeah,
recovering
yeah,
when the ship gets attacked, and
yeah.
the whole like plot
Apparently
line
it
was just
interlaps. Apparently it like episode 8 starts like within the last 10 minutes of episode 7, or something like that. I could be wrong. Maybe I just I read some BS, but that I read that somewhere. But it's still, either even if that's not true, it takes place like right after.
yeah,
It's like minutes after. So
yeah,
the like it's just like episode 8 should have been the best Star Wars movie ever. It should have been like the biggest, you know, it was supposed to be like our the empire of this generation, you know, like the Empire
yeah.
Strikes Back of this generation, because it was supposed to connect, like explain, okay, why is this girl so important, who are these people, why do we care about them.
The
And
amount of hype was immeasurable.
exactly, there needed to be loss, there needed to be like risk, and then that's exactly like what the movie in the middle should be, especially if the movie that follows is the last movie for the whole saga.
Finn's
And
arc would have been so much better um if he sacrificed himself in that moment. Like it wouldn't have
yeah,
fixed the movie, but his
no,
character arc
it
would
would
have
have
been
meant
awesome.
so much more, and it wouldn't be that, like, he would have been like a hero, he would have been a hero to the entire, to the galaxy, you know,
Yeah,
to in the resistance. And like, not that I wanted him to die, but it's like that would have been more powerful than what we saw.
yeah. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about character development and arc and
Yeah.
everything. But
So like I guess this episode kind of turned into like talking about the sequels, but I mean it's relevant now. Like it's relevant to the Mandalorian, but
well,
I I don't know. I feel like they just focus too much on making episode 8 something to talk about instead of something that was powerful and made sense to the
yeah,
story. It was like, okay, well, it's either you're going to make a great Star Wars movie, or you're going to make a movie that's going to divide everyone, and everyone's going to talk about it, and it's going to be talked about forever. So you're either going to be famous for one of the two, and
yeah,
we all know what he picked. So
yeah. All right, let's get back on track. With so so Luke promises to train Grogu. Um, and you know, Mando says, "Oh, he doesn't want to go with you." And then Luke says, talent without training is nothing. And then Grogu eventually, he gives Mando a little hug, and then Mando and Grogu have a moment together, and Grogu's never seen Mando's face before. Mando takes off his helmet, and it's just like this big emotional moment between Mando and Grogu. I shed some tears. I'm pretty sure everyone did.
Yeah.
It was really emotional, and Grogu gets to see um, Din's face, and they say their goodbyes. And Din's crying, and then R2D2 shows up, and surprisingly, it wasn't just like a hello type thing. R2 and Grogu had quite a little bit of dialogue there for
Yeah.
maybe about 30 seconds or so, and kind of leads me to wonder what R2 was doing when Anakin was slaughtering younglings. Um, Maybe R2 saved Grogu from the temple. Who knows? It seemed like they knew each other.
Damn. Now you're making me think.
Because I mean, R2 obviously has a moral compass, as we've seen from his episode, from his solo episodes in Clone Wars, and we just know the character so well.
Yeah.
Pretty sure
Like,
R2D2 knew what was going on with Anakin. Like he was acting sus, like for sure. And I mean, once he saw the Jedi Temple go up in flames, who knows? Maybe his little buddy Grogu that he hung out with while Anakin was teaching younglings, like he decided to save him. Who knows?
who knows? That, I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah,
Damn.
it did seem like they had some history. R2
Yeah.
was around that time. Grogu was at the temple. Who
Either
knows?
that, either that, or R2 was like, "Yo, Luke, it's like a little baby Yoda."
Oh yeah, or he
Yeah,
recognizes
he's
Yoda.
like, "Hey,
Yeah.
what is this?"
So Luke takes Grogu. Everyone's like looking, and the elevator shuts, and that's it. So season 3 is coming, and we're really excited for it. We don't really know what's going on, but it's gonna be great, as we know. John and
Can't
Dave
wait.
did a fantastic job. Then we get the after credits scene. Now it's turning into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I personally am excited
I love
for.
it. Yeah.
I'd love to see all these shows
Oh,
intertwine with each other. We're getting a show called The Book of Boba Fett. We see Boba and Fennec pull up to Jabba's palace, and it turns out Bib Fortuna has been alive all this time, and he's been eating a lot of
been moonshine.
McDonald's or something. I don't know, but he looks like Jabba now, basically, and he's like, Boba, I thought you were dead, and Boba's just like, bye. Kills them all, kills everybody in there. They let the Twilight go free. I was kind of nervous with them standing on the grate
Yeah,
that one might fall into a Rancor pit or something, but
I
maybe
thought
not.
I thought Boba I thought Boba was gonna tell Fennec like, "Hey,
Yeah,
like, don't stand on that." That would have
yeah.
been funny.
But
But
then, I mean, Boba goes and sits on Jabba's throne, where Bib used to sit, and Fennec grabs some moonshine or whatever, and the Book of Boba Fett coming next December 2021, and it is going to be an entirely separate show from The Mandalorian. So who knows what that is going to unfold, but I'm excited for it. More Boba Fett? Are you kidding me?
yes, yeah, ah, like I can't. This is what everyone's been asking for since like the beginning, like since Disney bought Star Wars. Has everyone not been asking for a Boba Fett show?
I mean, everybody's been asking about this stuff happening even prior to Disney buying Star Wars. So, I mean, the fact that we're finally getting like this whole universe of TV series and shows, like I know some people are complaining that it's too much, but I think they're gonna
What,
the
like, watch it
MCU
when you
did it
can, you know?
really well. The MCU did it really well, and as many MCU critics that I'm sure are out there, you got to hand it to them that they did a pretty damn good job of making everything intertwine and
They did. They
exist together.
and not just that, they knew how to treat their characters. They knew how to, like, they knew what each character meant and what they should be like and who they are, like, at, like, on a spiritual level, how like Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Like, are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
I mean, as long as, like, okay, my point of view as a Star Wars fan, there can never be too much
No,
Star Wars.
there's already too
The
much,
you
and like,
can't you can't complain being a fan that they're making too much
I'm
of
sorry
what
if
you love.
I don't understand how you can be like, I'm a fan, and then you're like, oh, they're making too much Star
Now
Wars.
I understand if they were making all these shows and they weren't doing a good job. If it's another
No, yeah,
Last
that's
Jedi, I
different.
understand.
That's
But
different.
it's clear to me that the Star Wars franchise is rebranding. It's in the hands of people who know the fans and who love Star Wars as much as we do,
They
and
know their
they
Star
have
Wars, you know.
proven proven themselves to that they know how to make a good show that everybody
Yeah,
loves, The Mandalorian. So if they can do that going forward with all of these new shows,
I'm not worried.
go for it. Like, I'm so happy about it.
Yeah,
Now, granted, we will talk about it if they mess things up,
yeah.
but
But okay, but
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They're not going
yeah,
to.
the the problem is that they messed up at the beginning with Star Wars because I feel like, and like, I don't want to offend anyone if anyone from Disney is listening to this. Obviously, like, I'm not. I'm just obviously from what it looks like. It's like they bought Star Wars for billions of dollars, right? It's like, of course, anyone immediately would be like, okay, we want to make our money back as soon as possible. And they said, okay, we're going to release these movies immediately, which is awesome. We were all excited. We were like, oh my gosh, more Star Wars. But now as we see it, I'm like, okay, I would have rather wait. I rather would have waited like 5 years for episode 7.
Yeah.
You know, I
Mhm.
would have rather waited 5 years for episode 7. Um, and waited for however much longer for the whole trilogy. So because I feel like what messed it up is they rushed into it. They rushed into it. They didn't understand how they should have been treating Star Wars and how seriously they should have taken Star Wars, because it's not just a story. First of all, it's not just a movie. Star Wars is so much bigger than any other just movie. It's shaped lives. It's
Yeah.
shaped relationships and saved people's lives. And everyone's in a different place, emotionally and mentally. And Star Wars has been there for so many people. So when you rushed into it and now you're bringing in characters that are 40 years old, 40 years old, there's 40 years of stories and lore and feelings and emotions for hundreds of thousands, millions of people around the world. Obviously, you're like, if you're rushing into anything, you're not going to do it right. And especially if you're rushing into 3 Star Wars movies,
Yeah.
with
And they didn't have, they went at it a movie at a time, and they had different directors, and which isn't the big problem. They had different people writing each one, and it didn't
yeah,
seem like they were all on the same page.
they weren't. That was definitely the problem. If okay, the problem was
Yeah.
George Lucas had written his 3 movies. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what Disney says. I don't care what Lucasfilm says. I don't care what anyone says. George Lucas wrote his 3 movies. He had, even if they were like drafts or whatever, he said he wrote
He
those
had
3
a
movies.
vision
He had a
for where it
vision.
was going.
He had a vision for where it was going. Why not use his stories? Like, why not use this? Like, they were there.
Yeah,
They were
they
ready.
decided not to use them.
And
They could have just they could have took them and slightly changed them a little bit, but they went with something completely different. And if the MCU is pretty consistent. Like,
Yeah.
there's not really any bad movies in the MCU.
No,
Not really.
it seems like the MCU was written like in its entirety,
It's
and then
because
they
they
were
had,
just like,
yeah, they had this group of people who were all on the same page, who wrote
yeah,
them together, who had this singular vision of where it was going to go
exactly,
and where it was going to end, and that's what happened. And now they have
exactly,
another group doing the second part of the MCU, and that's what they're trying to do with Star Wars right now when they
and
should have
that's
done
how
it
it
in the
yeah,
beginning.
and exactly that's how it should have been done since the very beginning, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm not worried anymore, because it's like, okay, there's a map, there's a roadmap, and they know what it is. And that's exactly what George Lucas did with the
Yeah.
original trilogy. He
Hmm.
wrote the whole story and he said, okay, I need a director to convey these feelings watching this movie. I need a director
Yeah.
to, help the audience connect with the characters in this
Yeah.
movie. And then I need a director that's going to make the last movie the way I want,
Yeah, and they went about it following that vision, and yes, they did make changes along the way, like Luke not turning to the dark side, for example. But like I said, they didn't have to rework the entire movie. They just changed
Exactly.
certain things
George,
based
yeah,
upon how the audience felt these characters were like, how they felt the characters were developing and
exactly.
their arc. And I mean, now we have Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni leading this group of directors and writers to create a Star Wars cinematic universe where everything's connected because this is a huge galaxy, bigger than
Yes.
Marvel in my opinion.
Oh,
And
yeah. Yeah.
they have like great directors like um all the ones you've seen on Mandalorian. I forget their names. Deborah Chow, uh
Fumiya.
Bryce Dallas Howard, that yeah, that guy, I can't say his name, and a few others, and they've all done a fantastic job of working together, and you can see their dynamic. Oh, Taika Waititi too. You can
Yeah.
see their dynamic in the show that's coming out later this month, Mandalorian Gallery. If you haven't watched
Yeah.
season one, all the directors are in this round table, and that's how I imagine all their meetings going
Yeah.
for the Star Wars universe. They're just on this round table and they're talking about everything together. And they respect one another and they listen to Dave Filoni, even though he only directs like one episode a season. He's like one of us. He's a fan and he knows more about Star Wars than any other fan does, and he like is bringing this all together with Jon Favreau keeping them together like glue. So Star Wars Cinematic Universe, I'm all for it. I
Yes.
can't wait.
100%.
Let's do this, and
And,
yeah,
and if you're iffy about it, wait and to give it a chance. Because
just at least give it a chance. If they
yeah,
fail, they fail, but we have to,
I they
as
have given
fans, like,
John and Dave have given us no reason to doubt them.
yeah,
They haven't. And if they're writing these stories, if they're involved in any way, I have no doubt in my mind that they'll be good.
yeah,
And especially since, like, never mind. But yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that it's gonna be good. I'm excited, man. It's gonna be
yes,
really, really good.
it's a very exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. Thank you
Yeah.
guys for watching the finale
Yes.
of Talking Mando. I
Thank you.
appreciate every one of you who has followed us along on this journey. We are just starting out with the whole YouTube thing, and we
Yes.
are so happy to have you here. We're gonna be creating a lot more content for you guys, and hopefully, y'all will stick around. So
Yeah.
please subscribe to the channel. Um, keep 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 up with us on Instagram at Star Wars Daily and at Punch Chewie Press, so you can hear all about our latest videos and Star Wars news. And yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
watching.
Thank you
May the
guys.
force be with
Appreciate it.
you.
And yeah, this is the way.